Hi there, this is
Exclusive hot.
Hi everyone, Lauren here from Mildred L. Terry Public Library, and today we're going to be making a paint chip calendar using an old frame and some old paint chips. Now, what makes this calendar great is that you can use an expo marker, write on it, wipe it off, and reuse it the next month. So we're going to be doing a little bit of upcycling in this program, and if you know anything about my other videos, I love upcycling. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I did, I knew that I wanted my dates, or the days of the week, to be roughly 2 by 2 inches. So I've already measured and cut those. And I'll place them kind of up here just to kind of get a look at them. So they'll look kind of like that. Remember, you'll need to leave room up here for the month. So put that. And then I'm just going to take my things that have not been cut yet, my paint chips that have not been cut, and I'm going to make sure that I can do 5 rows of paint chips. So that's 5 rows. And each paint chip is roughly 2 3/4 inches long or wide. Now, depending on where you go for your paint chips, they're going to be different widths. You know, you may get the one that has 5 or 6 colors on one strand. It's really up to you. I got these from Home Depot. So I know that width-wise I don't have to cut width-wise. Now for going across, I know that they'll need to be 2 inches so that they fit under each day of the week. So that's going to make it easy. All I'll need to do is cut 2 inches from somewhere in the middle of the paint chip. And luckily, these on the back, I've measured out so that it's roughly, you know, I don't have to measure every one. I can use these markers to cut. So I'll go ahead and cut this one to kind of show you what I'm working with. I'll cut right here. So my paint chip is going to look like that. And I'm going to place it right under the day of the week, and just like that. And so I'll do that for the rest of them, and I'll be back when I'm finished cutting. So I am back. I have finished cutting all of my paint chips, and I have extra right here, as you can see. I would recommend getting extra, just in case you accidentally cut one too small, or just a little crooked, just in case. You can never be too safe. And you'll need a minimum of 42 paint chips. So from here, you will need to measure so that you can make sure all of your lines are correct. You'll need to lay it out first, like I have, just to be sure this is what you want, you know, roughly where you want them. And then from there, you'll take your ruler and you will measure down. Like, I am going to make the area where I'm writing the month, I'm going to make that roughly 2 1/4 inch. That should be more than enough room to write. So I will mark down here, right down here, so that I can make all of the days of the week line up correctly. And then I'll go down each row and make it so that I'm getting the same amount under, above, around each day. I just measured a little space between each thing and I marked it off, and I would do one row at a time. You can do this row or this row. It's just easiest once you have one to measure everything else by. After I got, the first probably 2 rows, I was able to, instead of taking and measuring between the paint chips, I was able to just kind of eyeball it. And I'm sure there are going to be mistakes. I'm sure that I can already tell there's a little more. It's a little closer to the edge on this side than it is on this side, but that's okay. Once I start writing on it, I won't be able to tell as much. So there we go. That's what it is going to look like. Like I said, if you want, instead of writing, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every month, you can go ahead and write onto those paint chips if you would like. That way you don't have to continuously write on them every month. And then at the end of the month, whenever you're ready, just wipe it off, just like that. And you start with your next month. If you want to make one that's just a week, you can have, maybe if you have like a much smaller frame, let's say it's only about that size, you can make just a week. Or if you only want to do, like the weekdays, a Monday through Friday type thing. If you don't have paint chips, you can use Post-it notes. And if you want to cut up the paint chips in a different design, kind of make them different shapes. If you want Mondays to be triangles, and you want Tuesdays to be flowers, and you want Wednesdays to be rectangles, you can design it however you would like. So you just hang this up wherever you want, and you have a reusable calendar. Okay, so here's the finished product. I've gone ahead and filled it out for the month of September and put in a few things that I'm looking forward to during the month of September. So keep in mind when you are making this craft that this is meant to be fun. Don't stress about having perfect lines or making sure that everything is just perfect. This is meant to be something that you enjoy making, that you enjoy looking at, that you are able to upcycle some materials, and you're able to reduce your carbon footprint, not having to buy a calendar every month or every year. This is something that you can reuse, recycle, keep that in mind. I promise that once you start writing on it, you won't notice, oh, that line or that, space is 1/4 of a centimeter off. I promise you're not gonna recognize that once you start writing on it. And also, you don't have to write things, like this, filling out the calendar with things that you are looking forward to in the future. You can use this if you are trying to keep track of things like, say you're a runner and you want to keep track of your mileage every month, or you're doing yoga, or if you want to make this like a budgeting calendar, writing down, oh, I spent this much today. You can use this calendar however you would like. It's yours. Get creative. So stick around. I have a few book recommendations on crafting, and you're definitely going to want to check those out. The first book is Rescue, Restore, Redecorate, Amy Howard's Guide to Refinishing Furniture and Accessories. This book has all the furniture finishing techniques and tips that make using what you have redecorating so much fun. Try your hand at unique painted and faux finishes, and experiment with gold leaf, distressing, and marvelous graining effects. Along the way, you will learn a treasure trove of techniques as Howard shares step-by-step instructions needed to achieve each look. The next book is the Making It Guide to Crafting. This well-rounded crafting guide will offer in-depth looks at some of the best DIY crafts that were featured on the show and inspired by the makers themselves. Introductions to woodworking, fiber arts, paper crafts, and more will enable readers to experiment and customize their own creations at home. And the projects are accessible to all skill levels, so you can get just as crafty as the makers did. This crafting guide will inspire and energize you to DIY whatever you put your mind to. Our final book is Craft the Rainbow, 40 Colorful Paper Projects from the House That Lars Built by Brittany Jepsen. Learn how to make playful party decorations, luscious flowers, amazing cards, and sophisticated wreaths, garlands, centerpieces, and more than you can imagine, all with nothing but the creative power of paper. In Craft the Rainbow, Jepsen walks readers through the easy basics of transforming simple paper, including tissue, crepe, cardstock, leaves of books, and vintage and recycled paper, into vibrant, homemade projects suitable for every occasion.